Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our reading through the Tanak night, Wednesday night, 15th of July, 2026. Okay, my main topic will be Israel, the Israelis is threatening to kill Trump. So we're going to go into that and we'll talk about it. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, get the meat out. These videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing or receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, we have our Cash App at the bottom of the screen for those that want to support this channel, help it move along. That too will be greatly appreciated. Okay, for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanak and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called book of remembrance, is from Genesis to Malachi. Well, we don't subscribe to the New Testament. We don't subscribe to the God in the New Testament. The church fathers, apostles, and Paul, we don't subscribe to them, okay? This channel was created to aid and assist our Hebrews who are waking up in these last days and these final hours to their true identity, and also understanding who their Savior and their Redeemer truly is. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our reading through the Tanakh class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, and the Psalms. Then we have some current events, some need-to-know information. Then we'll go to our topic for discussion. Like I said earlier, it's a video, and it's entitled "Israel is Threatening." Israel that's over in the Middle East right now. Fake Jews are threatening to kill Donald Trump, right? And our scripture reading will be, we're reading 5 chapters out of the First Chronicles. We'll be reading chapters 11 through 15. We're going to read each chapter and break it down and talk about it. Okay, then move on. Then we'll pick a scripture, talk about that scripture, and then we're going to go to our Q&A. Okay, at the end of the class, we'll deal with the Q&A, any questions, any comments, any dialogue, or testimonies, and then we'll close out. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and your wisdom, and we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers, and you, oh Lord, have directed us to who you are and your role in the going on of heaven and earth. And we come this day doubtless that you will appear. You will appear and that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. Tarry not, O Lord, for the latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, let me a song right quick. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read Psalm 10. It's a prayer for the overthrow of the wicked. Why standest thou far off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursings and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doeth he murder. the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He layeth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doeth the wicked contempt God? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not requite it. Thou hast seen it, or thou beholdest much mischief and spite to requite it with thy hand. The poor committed himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathens are perished out of his hand, out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desires of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their hearts. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. That was the Psalms 10, okay? And it's the prayer for the overthrow of the wicked, okay? You got anything on that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. Yes, sir. I got a question about verse 17.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Where it says, Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear. Well,
Okay.
yes, sir. What's being said right there, brother Leonard?
Well, he just prayed in the previous couple of verses. He just prayed that the Lord look after the meek, that's really meek, meek at heart, the Israelite, the one that's submitted to him. So he's saying that in the proper time, he's gonna hear and he's gonna judge.
Okay. Yes,
Right.
sir.
Okay. So with that being said, we go to our current
And also,
event. Go ahead.
I'm
You
sorry,
got,
brother
you
Leonard.
got
And I was going to ask one more time in verse 12, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. Where it says, "Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand and forget not the humble." So that's kind of like you said in these verses. This when he's talking to the Israelites, what the righteous, right? That is
Well,
that
that's
the meat.
that particular verse right there. David is talking to the Lord of hosts.
Okay.
The example is Deuteronomy 32, start at verse 39.
32. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Okay.
Keep
Uh,
going.
keep going. Yes, sir. For I lift up my hand to heaven
80,
and say,
right there.
right. Okay. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You got anything
All
else?
right. Shalom. No,
Okay.
no, sir.
So go to the next one. Okay, go to my current events.
By 2026, as fireworks were being prepped over the National Mall to celebrate 250 years of American independence, paramedics were already running, not toward an explosion, not toward a shooting, toward heat. Nearly 300 people would need medical attention that single day in Washington, D.C. alone, collapsing in a heat index that had crossed 110 degrees. Dozens were carried out on stretchers. And a few miles away, in Pennsylvania, a 68-year-old man died trimming his hedges in his own backyard. No storm, no siren. No warning that made the evening news the way a hurricane would. Just heat, quietly stopping a heart that could no longer keep up. By the time the holiday weekend was over, at least 25 Americans were dead. New Jersey alone counted 22 fatalities spread across 10 counties. And here's the detail almost no one was told. Heat kills more people in the United States every single year than hurricanes, tornadoes, and lightning combined. Not close, not some years, every year. And yet, when you turn on the news during a heat wave, there are no urgent bulletins interrupting programming, no evacuation orders, no images of flattened houses. Heat is the disaster that never looks like one. And that, as you're about to discover, might be the most dangerous thing about it. Because on paper, in the official language of the United States government, extreme heat is not classified as a major disaster at all. And let that sit for a moment. Under the federal law that governs emergency response in America, the Stafford Act, hurricanes qualify, wildfires qualify, floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, all qualify. Heat does not, which means that when a heat dome kills more Americans in a week than a mid-sized hurricane, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has no statutory authority to declare it a disaster, no automatic funding trigger, no coordinated national response mechanism built for it. The deadliest weather phenomenon in the country is, bureaucratically speaking, invisible. This is the story of how that invisibility is now colliding with a physical reality that is changing faster than almost anyone in Washington wants to admit. This is the story of America's heat crisis, not some distant future threat, but something already reshaping power grids, hospitals, farms, transportation systems, and the human body itself, right now in real time. And by the end of this story, you'll understand something unsettling. The crisis isn't really about how hot it's getting. It's about how unprepared the systems protecting you were ever built to be. Start with the numbers, because the numbers alone should stop you cold. Between 1999 and 2023, heat-related deaths in the United States nearly doubled, climbing from just over 1,000 a year to well over 2,000 annually, according to a 2024 analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The worst year on record in that stretch was the most recent one measured, 2023, meaning the trend line isn't flattening, it's accelerating. And researchers who study this openly admit the real number is almost certainly higher, because heat rarely gets listed as the official cause of death. It hides behind heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure, respiratory collapse. The coroner in Pennsylvania, who examined that 68-year-old man's death, didn't write heat wave on the certificate. He wrote heart attack brought on by heat exhaustion. Multiply that pattern across thousands of cases every year in every state, and you start to understand the undercount problem that haunts every official heat statistic in America. Atlantic City, New Jersey, hit 106 degrees on July 4th, shattering its all-time record. Washington, D.C. reached 102, breaking a record that had stood since 1872. Since the same era, remarkable as it sounds, as some of those overnight low records in the upper Midwest, Philadelphia logged 3 consecutive days above 101 degrees for the first time in its recorded history. And this wasn't confined to one region, as the Eastern Heat Dome finally broke apart in early July under a wave of violent thunderstorms. Storms so intense they knocked out power to over 1 million homes and produced Connecticut's largest hailstone on record. Using their own clinical language, described the rate of heat illness across the Northeast that week as extremely high, a phrase public health agencies do not use lightly. Public infrastructure buckled in ways both literal and symbolic. Rail lines across the Northeast and Midwest, Amtrak, SEPTA in Philadelphia, New Jersey Transit, were forced to slow trains or cancel service entirely because steel rails expand and warp in extreme heat, risking derailment. Parades meant to celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence were canceled outright in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. The Federation of American Scientists, in a formal policy proposal delivered to Congress, has explicitly called for heat to be added to the Stafford Act's list of qualifying disasters, and for FEMA to develop dedicated heat hazard mitigation guidance. As of the summer of 2026, those recommendations remain unimplemented. The deadliest weather phenomenon in America remains the one the federal disaster response system is least equipped and least authorized to fight.
Okay, what you think?
Shalom.
Down there where y'all at?
I'm sorry.
Y'all feeling the heat down there where y'all at?
Oh yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay.
It's hot. It's cooler this week than the last 2 weeks, but
Okay.
it's still in the high 90s.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been in some hot situations since I've been here in Louisiana, but I can't recall it being as hot as it is now.
Mm.
Yeah, it's hot. Okay, here we go.
First and foremost, energy, metals, minerals, fertilizer, and food are the businesses to be in now. Nothing else. That's where you put your money. AI is a bubble. SpaceX is a bubble. Energy disruption always detonates financial markets. The war is not over. The structure of the world is not yet changed. It's changing, but it has not reset. Will it reset? Yes. Iran has won the war. The United States has lost the war. Israel has not won the war. It has not yet completely lost the war, but it will. Whatever we sign shortly thereafter, the Israelis will resume the offensive. Iran will respond by attacking Israel. The pressure on President Trump to re-engage in support of Israel will be overwhelming. He will be pressured to re-engage. And whenever he goes in and whatever he does with our armed forces, once it's been done, he's going to say, I've done all I can't do anymore. And then he will begin disengaging. This was inevitable. There's an old expression, a ship is a fool to fight a fort. You could have brought the entire United States Navy along with the naval power of all of our allied nations, and we still would have lost. The topography, the geography, all of it was against us. And the Iranians have mastered the real revolution in military affairs. That is, they've linked all the space-based and terrestrially based surveillance, intelligence, reconnaissance platforms to these thousands of ballistic missile platforms and cruise missiles and unmanned systems. And we can't possibly destroy them all, and they can reach all of us long before we reach them. And we engaged thinking that we could do all of this without ground forces. And then we decided, well, we may need ground forces. And we discovered something we've all known for a long time. We don't really have an army. We have a gesture, not the real thing. Where do we go from here? Short term, you've got to be prepared for the price of oil to go back up again. Will it ever come down? Well, it's going to take some time because, first of all, you're going to extract all the oil that you can, and you're going to put that oil into your strategic reserves. We will do that. The Japanese will do that. The Chinese will do that. Everybody will do that in the advanced world. And in the developing world, especially the global south, where there were no reserves, they're going to build reserves. So the demand for oil, the demand for natural gas, the demand for all the energy that can be created is going to dramatically outstrip the supply. And East. The first thing that you're going to see is that all of the arrangements that we and our British and French allies reached in the Middle East after World War I, and then subsequently were reaffirmed only this time largely under American leadership after World War II, are all going to disintegrate. All the states that you see today on the Arabian Peninsula really are largely artificial. Before the First World War, yes, you had various Arab tribes that had areas of concentration and influence, but real modern states in the sense that we think of it didn't exist. These states can't protect themselves from determined enemy attack. Listen, in other words, this American military hegemony, which has become global in the last 80 years, is going to go away. Now, we've already seen the outlines of this departure in Europe. But I think the handwriting's on the wall. We can't protect Europe from the kind of military power that we've seen employed in Iran, and the Russians have plenty of it. The Russians are actually the original creators of this ISR strike capability. You've got to go back to the 1970s. You look at the work of Marshal Ogarkov and his brain trust, especially Mahmoud Karayev. These men put together everything that you've seen in Iran, only they envisioned something even more powerful and profound, and that was orbiting around the planet, which means that we're probably going to see either new treaties or agreements regarding what can happen in space, or if we're very stupid and we refuse to cooperate with these new treaties and new agreements, then we'll see enormous weapons platforms appear in space, which can target as instantly as anything you've seen in Iran, anything that comes within 1,000 miles of anybody's territory. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that we usually treat military power as something separate from everything else. But in reality, military power, economic prosperity, science, technology, all of these things are inextricably intertwined. We no longer have a monopoly on many of the things that we've enjoyed for the last 80 years. And those things have an impact. You disrupt the energy markets, the financial markets react. We're not going to suffer as badly as perhaps other countries, but everybody is in a very similar position in that regard. And we've talked about the fertilizer problem, the absence of sulfuric acid, which means that you can't refine a lot of the minerals that you need to, the absence of nitrogen, you can't develop the fertilizer. All of these things continue to plague us. We're seeing record bankruptcies in the agricultural sector. He knows that. And finally, he knows that inflation has continued to climb. Wars breed inflation. I remember when people said, oh, gold will never reach 4,000. Impossible. And then they said, oh, it'll never reach 6,000. Listen, we're going to see it hit 10,000. Now, is there an alternative to it? Yes, I think you're going to see something like Bitcoin that will be utilized as an alternative to the dollar for transactional reasons, as a way to create and sustain private credit. But ultimately, gold will be the coin of the realm. There's no question about it. So at this stage, I would say to anybody that's thinking about investing in it, there is no ceiling for your purposes. The long-term outlook is all positive and up. And these sort of temporary corrections and then restarts back up the ladder are going to continue. I think Bitcoin, as a transactional means of doing business, because it's very hard to move gold tonnage from point to point. The Chinese, as you know, have set up vaults for that purpose in Riyadh and Hong Kong so that they can literally physically move the gold around from whatever country has purchased whatever they wanted in terms of petroleum or something else. We still call the dollar the reserve currency, and it will, at least in the popular imagination, remain that for a while, simply because there's so many dollars out there. So much.
Okay. Got any feedback on that? What do you think?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. You were talking about that the other day, those artificial states in the Middle East that that they set up. Yes, sir. They being targeted, being taken out.
Right, and the U.S. can't protect them no more.
Right.
So he said they're gonna go to. He says a greater collapse. The greater collapse already. It already collapsing, but it's a greater collapse. It just begun. Is what he was talking about. Okay. So I don't know if anybody heard about this, but if you know anything about Mossad, I've been talking the last couple of months or so about how they trying to merge Israel army with the U.S. army. So in other words, Mossad, which is that's the brainchild of the Israeli army. So they're trying to merge them with the United States army. And as of this morning, let's play this. Check it out.
It is exceedingly rare that I can come out here and give you guys good news, but I am happy to announce, for once, I do have a little bit of good news for you. Now, understand this is conditional. So, in other words, this is subject to change with time, because this fight is not over yet. But let me show you this. Look at this. Breaking. Senate Democrats, under the leadership of Chris Van Hollen and Bernie Sanders, unite to block the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, from moving forward because of its provisions to deepen U.S.-Israeli military and intel relations. This is remarkable and further evidence the U.S. is moving away from Israel. Okay, let me show you this. A great development. The Senate voted against the NDAA. It was 50 to 46. They needed 60 votes. It was 50 to 46. It denied Israel a merger with the U.S. And here's the most important part. The 46 who voted in favor should face charges for treason. Okay, they should face charges for treason. And actually, I think this guy slightly misunderstands. I think it was the 50 that voted in favor, but they needed 60, right? So, and by the way, would you like to take a guess which party they belong to? Would you like to take a guess? Virtually every Republican. In fact, I don't know the exact numbers, but like, did Rand Paul break? I'm not sure if he broke. You guys can put it in the comment section below. But the overwhelming majority of Republicans literally voted for something, the textbook definition of treason. So Israel knows, understand why this is happening. Israel knows that, oh shit, Americans hate us now. Oh shit, we're on borrowed time. getting endless money and endless weapons from the U.S. So what their grand plan is they have Netanyahu going out there now and saying, we don't even want money from the U.S. We don't even want weapons from the U.S. We're a big boy nation. We can handle ourselves. And it's a PR move, right? It's a PR move because ultimately they're trying to rush through right now a way to get their claws into our military and our intelligence systems where it becomes impossible to break up with them. It is literally the Peter Thiel strategy from Palantir, where you give them a contract, you open up the door to them, they get so embedded deeply within our government systems that even if a president who means well comes in there and tries to break up with Palantir, Peter Thiel says, that's impossible. We are so deeply embedded in the US government and we have all the information and the data already that you can't break up with us. You are stuck with us. This is the exact same thing that Israel is doing. This is a US military, Israeli military, it's a Mossad takeover of our military, forcing intelligence sharing. And this is a hostile power that doesn't have our best interests in mind.
Cool.
Could you imagine somebody tried this with, I don't know, pick a random country that's theoretically our enemy. If there was somebody who said, we're gonna merge the Russian military and Russian intelligence with the US military and US intelligence, you actually would have people screaming, this is fucking treason. This is unacceptable. This is like an attempt to subvert a nation from within, to take away its sovereignty, to take away its independence. But it happens with Israel, barely mentioned on mainstream media, barely fucking mentioned on mainstream media. But again, shout out to Bernie Sanders, shout out to Chris Van Hollen. You have no idea how important it is that they did this. Now, here's the thing, though. This was also blocked, not just for that reason. This was also blocked because it's like over $1 trillion being given to the military-industrial complex to continue the illegal war against Iran. And so the argument was, Trump said to Congress, okay, we're restarting the war against Iran, so restart the 60-day clock when it comes to the War Powers Act. That was basically what he was saying there. And so the Democratic senators were like, no, fuck that. Like, we're against you continuing this war against Iran. So really, it's a twofold reason why they're blocking it. Now, here's the thing, though. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, is typically viewed as a must-pass bill because you don't fund the military at all if you don't pass it, right? So the question is now, well, what is going to be taken out of the NDAA and what is going to be put into the NDAA? One thing everybody should insist on, in fact, I would say call your fucking senators right this second and tell them no to the part of the bill that merges the U.S. military and the Israeli military. That is outright treason, and we will remember who voted for it. Tom Cotton was the fucking co-sponsor. He should be in prison today for this. Today. By the way, look how much money he gets from the Israel lobby. I'm sure you'll see some horrifying stuff there as well. But we need not only that taken out of the bill, but obviously we need to strip this thing down because, I mean, it shouldn't be a fucking penny for this illegal war against Iran. First, Trump came out and said, oh, we need 25 billion. Then they upped it to 67 billion. Now Trump's going, we need 350 billion. So they want 350 billion for this illegal war on top of 1.5 trillion that he wants for the overall Pentagon budget. All at the same time, he's literally saying, I don't care about Americans' financial situation. We can't afford daycare. We can't afford healthcare because we got to pay for this war. It's a sick, sick joke. It is a disgusting, disgusting joke. But listen, I'm a big believer in providing incentives for people. So the Democrats who voted the right way on this, all the credit in the world to them. In fact, you should call them and thank them if your senator voted to block this. Tell them to stand strong. Tell them hell no on merging the U.S. military and the Israeli military. And also hell no on funding this war any further. I'm in favor of cutting off all U.S. aid to Israel. They've sensed the shifting opinion among the Democratic base. I believe it's nearly 80% of the Democratic base thinks Israel committed a genocide and wants to cut off U.S. money and weapons to Israel. So it's like, it's not really up in the air. It's a very black and white issue among the Democratic base. Democrats are united on saying fuck no to genocide and fuck no to more weapons to the people doing the genocide. But here you have Democratic leadership, Hakeem Jeffries coming out and saying, no, I oppose the attempt to cut off U.S. aid to Israel. Why? Well, you can see right here. Oh, look at that. He's taken $1.7 million from the Israel lobby. I wonder if that has something to do with it. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Now, I don't have the exact numbers right now. By the time this drops, we may know the exact number, though, to be fair. But I think there's speculation it's in the high 200s or maybe over 300 Democrats that are going to say, no, we want to cut off all U.S. aid to Israel, which is phenomenal. But make no mistake about it. This is betrayal from Hakeem Jeffries. It's absolute betrayal. And you have J Street, right? And by the way, step down, Hakeem Jeffries, step down. Like you're in no position to be the leader of the Democratic Party. You don't represent the Democratic base. Like this is not like a wacky concept or anything. The Democratic leader should represent the will of the Democratic base. Less in favor of gun control than a Democrat in a blue state. That's what a big tent means. A big tent doesn't mean we have people who hate genocide and people who love genocide. That's not a big tent. This is a basic moral test. This is a basic moral issue. And unfortunately, Democratic leadership has completely failed it. But the good news is many Democrats in the caucus have passed it with flying colors. And like I said, Senate Democrats just blocked this NDAA, which tried to merge the U.S. and Israeli military. By the way, isn't it crazy that like this is how low the bar is? That now we like are actively cheering and we're excited because they weren't able to get the treason bill through. They weren't able to get the let's bomb more Iranian little schoolgirls to death bill through. I mean, just insanity, absolute fucking insanity.
What you think? You got any feedback on that? Okay. So we got some need to know information right here. Okay, let me get it right. Yeah, here we go.
There is a quiet transformation taking place in the Middle East, and it is not being measured only by the number of missiles launched, the sanctions imposed, or the speeches delivered at the United Nations. The real transformation is happening beneath the surface, where strategy evolves faster than headlines. For decades, American policymakers assumed that overwhelming military superiority guaranteed freedom of action. If a crisis emerged, Washington could increase sanctions, deploy aircraft carriers, reposition strategic bombers, or strengthen regional alliances. These tools formed a familiar playbook, one that had been used repeatedly across different administrations. But every successful strategy eventually forces its opponents to adapt. History is not simply the story of powerful nations expanding their influence. It is equally the story of weaker nations learning how to reshape the battlefield so that power itself becomes less decisive. Iran represents one of the clearest examples of this transformation. Instead of attempting to match the United States aircraft for aircraft or warship for warship, Tehran has invested for decades in creating a different kind of security architecture. It understood early that conventional military competition favored Washington, building a navy capable of challenging the US, Fifth Fleet, or an air force capable of competing with American stealth aircraft would require resources that Iran simply did not possess. Rather than entering a competition it was destined to lose, it asked a different question. How do you prevent a stronger opponent from using its strength? One nation's ambitions or another nation's response. It reflects a broader transition toward a more multipolar world in which influence is dispersed, risks are interconnected, and the cost of miscalculation has never been higher. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of this strategic competition is psychology. Nations do not make decisions based solely on military capability. They make decisions based on expectations. Leaders ask themselves a series of difficult questions. Will an operation achieve its objective? How will allies respond? How will financial markets react? Could an adversary retaliate in ways that are difficult to predict? Restraint. The world's most powerful nations still possess extraordinary military capabilities, yet possessing power and using power are two very different things. Every decision is now filtered through layers of economic consequences, diplomatic calculations, technological risks, alliance commitments, and the possibility of unintended escalation. The battlefield has expanded far beyond land, sea, and air. It now includes financial markets, cyber networks, energy infrastructure, public opinion, and global supply chains. That is why the current strategic landscape deserves close attention. It is not simply a contest between two governments. It is a demonstration of how international politics is evolving. States that once appeared vulnerable are learning to create leverage through resilience, partnerships, and asymmetric capabilities, while traditional superpowers must adapt to a world where military superiority alone cannot guarantee political success.
Okay, Got any feedback on that? Okay, you want to watch
Shalom.
that? Okay.
Oh no, sir. Who's that title, sir?
It's Iran just cornered America, and the deterrent, they got them in a trap with no way out.
Right. Yeah, and I know been playing clips about that and talking about that, brother Leonard, just how Iran been planning this for the last, what was it, 20 years or something like that.
Right. They want to corner them, and just like he said, they got them cornered. They want them to commit ground truth. That's what they want. And that's where they at. Right. Got anything else?
Oh yes, sir. And that's supposed to be the part of the infantry with Israel and America's military merging, right? Is that
Right, exactly. Yeah. So with that being said, my topic for discussion is, like I was saying, they pretty much just they stuck their head out of the hole. Israel just threatened to kill Trump, just out in the open. And like I said, we've been hanging around here. These same people, they're the ones who've been killing all the presidents from back in the day. Okay, so what they just said right here ain't nothing new. Let's check it out. Okay. Let's see. Give me a minute. So all of a sudden it disappeared. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, let me see if I can find it right here. Oh, I can't find it. Let me place this video right here. I don't know what happened. This right here.
So MAGA Mike Johnson slipped up and said the quiet part out loud here. And if I'm being honest with you, this should terrify you. This should scare the shit out of you, what he openly admits to here. So as you all know, the Republicans are desperately trying to get more money for the Pentagon. I mean, they already blew through, what, $1 trillion budget, failed 8 audits in a row, can't account for 63% of their money. It's basically like a massive slush fund for the Epstein class. They build a bunch of stuff that's outdated that gets wrecked by drones. But they're begging for more money because they want to continue this illegal war against Iran. But he's going to accidentally tell the truth here and tell you what some of this money is also going to go for. Okay? Pay close attention. Listen to what he says. Here we go.
There's been a lot of discussion about what's going to be included in this reconciliation bill. Can you walk through how important and how imminent it is funding and what that number precisely is going to be and what?
So the question was, can you list the specifics of what the request is for the Pentagon? We've seen it's over 350 billion as a request. And some of this is transformational kind of funding that will help us change the dynamic of the Department of War and make it more efficient and effective. It's already the greatest fighting force on the planet, not even close. But there are some ideas, a real vision on how to improve that even further, to bolster that. You heard the president talk about how he wants to effectively double the funding for national defense. Look, we live in dangerous times. We're fighting communism on our own shores, and we're fighting evil terrorists and tyrants around the world. And we have to be able to protect our national security. So this is not the place to get into the details of that.
Quote, we're fighting communism.
Okay, here we go right here. Sorry about that.
You know, there's this famous counterpoint, right, where what Ronald Reagan actually did in 1982, right, while Israel was bombing Lebanon, is he apparently got on the phone with Begin and said, stop it. And he, according to his diary entry, Ronald Reagan, he said that this is the Holocaust. So something like that could happen, right? I'm just curious, like, what was it like when that happened? How did Israel feel? Was there, were they angry? Was it public that Israel had been stopped by the United States? Was it private? Was it not known?
Not at the time, it wasn't known. But one thing that was known at the time, in 1988, Bush the father insisted that Israel joins discussions of political resolution in Madrid. The Israelis refused to join, and Bush said, fine, do what you like. You asked me to give you loan guarantees because your economy is in the shit, and you want loans from the World Bank, and you put my name as a guarantor, and I'm telling you, I'm not guaranteeing your loan. So have a day.
If I die,
have a good day, and put the phone down. And immediately, Shamir, that was, the ex-terrorist, Yitzhak Shamir, said, okay, fine, game over, we're going to Madrid. So, you don't need to be really nasty. You've got to be clear. America is big enough that it doesn't need to be nasty. It's just got to the same policy. And Trump is unable to do that, unwilling to do this, or is so threatened by God knows what, in the Epstein files or in some other file. There is a theory going around that the Israelis have intimated either to Trump or to someone who he listens to, that his life is in danger. Of course, his life can only be in danger from Israel. So he knows that. And apparently he was told this. We don't know who was behind the two attempts to murder him. We don't know anything about this. It's amazing how little information has leaked out or has been shared about those two attempts to kill the most powerful man in the West. But we don't have any information. But if indeed they threatened his life, knowing Trump, and we all know him on some kind of level, kind of like very low level, but he's working on that level. You would have thought that if somebody threatened Trump, it will fire him into action.
Right.
All that he is doing and saying is like that. He doesn't like to be threatened. And I think that he only agreed to sign the memorandum of understanding because Netanyahu threatened him. What he threatened him with, I don't know. But the signs are that Netanyahu had misspoke, said something that Trump didn't like. And since then, of course, he withdrew it, or he sugar-coated it, or whatever. And we're back to the old days of we're not going to give the Iranians any money. Well, nobody asked you to give the Iranians any money, just to give them their money, for God's sake, not American money, money that you stole from them and held for 45 years. And they didn't ask you for your money, they asked for their money. So I think basically Trump is gone back to his modus operandi of all caps, X in all caps, sending civilizations back to the Stone Age as if this had any meaning, and things will be very bad in caps. This is his normal modus operandi, and he's gone back to that, and that gives me the impression that he's already out of the few minutes that he thought, I'm going to sign this, and people will understand that I care about America, and I care about them, and I care about the world, and they would like me, and that's why I'm doing it. But then it's more fun to throw people back into the Stone Age. So he changed into his old mode of operation.
What do you say to the response and the argument that comes out anytime anyone says anything like you just said? Oh, the idea that he's being threatened, that's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
Well, everything is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. I just wish somebody could come and prove me that it is the Albanians that control the White House, or it is the Tibetans that have Trump at the beck and call. Until that happens, we have to deal with facts. We have to deal with the facts as we see them, as we know them. And when Trump tells you, I control Israel, and we see the opposite every single day, then you can call it, an anti-Semitic meme as much as you want. But this describes what people can see every day on every speech that Trump has uttered. If somebody is in control in Washington, it's not an American. And, this is not an America first regime. It's an Israel first regime. And if this is anti-Semitic, so be it. I mean, it's nonsensical. To say anything meaningful, you have to be now facing accusations of anti-Semitism. Actually,
okay, what you think?
Shalom, brother Leonard, them threatening President Trump, that's interesting. And shoot, I could see them going through with it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. I mean, just to have this conversation is putting pressure on him. Just for them to put this out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So like I said before, me myself, I think they knocking off these senators. Me too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. We looking at the beginnings of it. A lot of people gonna start coming to miss it. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna be reading out of First Chronicles. We're gonna be reading chapters 11 through 15. Let me see if I'm in the right place. 11 through 15, First Chronicles.
Yes, sir. And Shalom, David anointed king. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David unto Hebron, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. And moreover, in time past, even when Saul was king, thou was he that led us out and brought us in Israel. And the Lord thy God said unto thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be ruler over my people Israel. Therefore came all the elders of Israel to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus, where the Jebusites were, the inhabitants of the land. And the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, Thou shalt not come hither. Nevertheless, David took the castle of Zion, which is the city of David. And David said, Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain. So Joab, the son of Zuriah, went first up and was chief, and David dwelt in the castle. Therefore, they called it the city of David. And he built the city round about, even from Milo round about. And Joab repaired the rest of the city. So David waxed greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. These also are the chiefs of the mighty men whom David had, who strengthened themselves with him in his kingdom and with all Israel to make him king, according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. And this is the number of the mighty men whom David had: Jashobeam and Hecamite, the chief of the captains. He lifted up his spear against 300 slain by him at one time. And after him was Eleazar the son of Dodo, the Ohite, the Ahohite, who was one of the three mighties. He was with David at Hasdamim, and there the Philistines were gathered together to battle, where was a parcel of ground full of barley, and the people fled from before the Philistines, and they set themselves in the midst of that parcel and delivered it, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord saved them by a great deliverance. Now 3 of the 30 captains went down to the rock to David into the cave of Adullam, and the host of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in the hold, and the Philistines' garrison was then at Bethlehem. And David longed and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem that is at the gate. And the 3 brake through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink of it, but poured it out to the Lord, and said, My God forbid it me that I should do this thing, should I drink the blood of these men that have put their lives in jeopardy. For with the jeopardy of their lives they brought it. Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these 3 mighties. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, he was chief of the 3, for lifting up his spear against 300, he slew them and had a name among the 3. Of the 3, he was more honorable than the 2, for he was their captain. Howbeit, he attained not to the first 3. But Niah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Also, he went down and slew a lion in a pit in a snowy day, and he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. And in the Egyptian's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam, and he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among the 3 mighties. Behold, he was honorable among the 30, but attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. Also, the valiant men of the armies were Azahel, the brother of Joab, Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shemath, the Hararite, Helez, the Pelonite, Ira, the son of Achish, the Tokite, Abiezer, the Anothite, Sibbecai, the Hushathite, Eliai, the Ahohite, Mahari, the Netophathite, Heled, the son of Bana, the Netophathite, Ethai, the son of Rabbi of Gibeah, that pertained to the children of Benjamin, Benaiah the Parathonite, Harai of the brooks of Gash, Abiel the Arbathite, Asmaveth the Baharamite, Elahaba the Shabbanite, the sons of Hashim the Gizonite, Jonathan the son of Sage the Horite, Ahaim the son of Sakar the Harite, Eliphaz the son of okay, Hefer the Makarite, Ahiah the Pelonite, Hezro the Carmelite, Nari the son of Esbai, Joel the brother of Nathan, Mibhar the son of Hagar, Zelek the Ammonite, Nahari the Berathite, the armor bearer of Joab and Zariah, Ira the son Joab the son of Zariah, excuse me, Ira the Ithrite, Garab the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, Zabad the son of Allah, Adina the son of Shiza the Reubenite, a captain of the Reubenites, 30 with him, Hanan the son of Miyaka, and Jehoshaphat the Mithnite, Uzziah the Ashtorethite, Shammah and Jahiel, the sons of Hothan the Aurorite, Jadiel the son of Shimri, and Joha his brother the Tizite, Eliel the Mahavite, and Jerubai and Joshaviah the sons of Elnam, and Ithma the Moabite, Eliel and Obed and Jasiel the Mosabite. Yeah, the Mosabite. And Shalom. That was First Chronicles 11. Sorry about the names.
Okay, you got anything on that?
I'm sorry, just Brother Leonard, yes, sir. In verse 22, right? You had pointed this out to me before, and reading it again, right? They making it a big thing to have Sloan in Egyptian.
Right, in 22.
Is that 20? Yes, sir. In verse 23, it says, and he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. I don't really know how tall that is, but even in context for me, where he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature. So I'm thinking, well, I feel like I learned that the Egyptians were giants, right, Brother Leonard?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I got two videos I'm always referring people to. It's Egypt, Land of the Giants, part 1 and 2.
right, exactly. Yeah. And then the lion-like men of mold. These ain't regular guys, right?
Exactly. They got lion DNA in them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So this is another part of what I was talking about. What the fallen angels was doing. They was actually doing DNA swaps. You know what I'm saying? They was crossing DNA and stuff, which they had to get it from the angels in order to know how to do that. what the angels was doing. It's like the island of Dr. Moreau. You saw that?
No, sir. The island of Dr. Monroe.
You never heard of that?
No, sir.
Yeah, this dude. He's like. They talk about in Islam, Jacob, the big head
Okay.
scientist. Where he
Okay.
got a story surrounding this guy called Dr. Moreau that he got this island and he bringing he got all these people there and he crossbreeding them. He got a laboratory. He crossbreeding them with lions and tigers and bears and all that. It's an actual movie. You can Google it.
So that's what Brother Leonard, now that do something. So your code, the big head scientist, like his right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they saying in Islam, Jacob, he's the one that created the white man, and he did it through selective breeding. You gotta check out like I
Yeah.
said, go to YouTube and Google that, and you'll see what. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Yes, sir. We'll do.
all right. So what we just reading is they put an emphasis on the mighty men David. Mighty men David had 33 mighty men that surrounded him. That's the reason why David was so effective and dangerous, because he had these mighty men that was around him, which we had talked about it, how Judah had mighty men around him. That's how David ended up with them around him. Abraham had the 300 men he had when he went to go subdue Lot. So these and it happened in right here in Genesis. Look at it. Genesis 15. Okay. And when you go, it goes back to the giant, the 10,000 man war, whatever they call it, 100,000 giant war. That when these giants, these men became, the Most High gave them over to Abraham, and Abraham circumcised them. So the giants that came from the fallen angels, they had a problem with the giants that had got circumcised. So yeah, it's in right here. Genesis 15, starting at verse 18. You got it? You there?
Yes, sir.
So what happened was right here is when Abraham got circumcised. And he circumcised Ishmael and them on this same day. He say in the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, "Unto thy seed have I given this land." See that? David is out of Abraham's seed. From the river of Egypt unto the great river of Euphrates. That's the land. Now we know the spies came on the land and saw all these giants. So the giants belong to David, to Abraham too. So it says the Kiddites. So they go to 7 nations right there. The Jebusites. So this is where these mighty men that David have, they come from these 7 nations, among these 7 nations. But they was the Most High put a spirit on them, and then they was circumcised. So that's what this chapter was pretty much telling you. These are 33 mighty men, and notice that one of them was, and this is what got David in trouble, was 41. Uriah the Hittite. Uriah was one of them that David sent and got killed, had him killed. So, and like I said, when you understand that, which a lot of people don't, you go to 2 Samuel 23, verse 8, they list the mighty men right there. In 2 Samuel 23, starting at verse 8. Same thing you're reading over here, it's in 2 Samuel 23 and 8. You see that?
23 and 8, Brother Leonard.
Yeah, so it's same thing again.
Okay.
You see it?
Okay, right, yes, sir. David's mighty men. Okay.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and go to, and notice this is just the mighty men. Now we at chapter 12, and then it says, "These are they that came to David at Ziklag, which he yet kept himself close because of Saul and Kish, and they were among the mighty men." So again, now we finna find out the army. It's the army that the Most High is talking about in Ezekiel 37. Okay, so but we're not gonna read all these names. What we're gonna do is pick it up in 15. First Chronicles 12 and 15.
Yes, sir. And these are they that went over the Jordan in the first month when it had overflown all its banks. Right? Yeah, overflown all its banks, and they put to flight all them of the valleys toward the east and toward the west. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the whole unto David. And David went out to meet them and answered and said unto them, if ye be come peaceably unto me to help me, my heart shall be knit unto you. But if you come to betray me to mine enemies, seeing there is no wrong in my hands, the God of our fathers look thereon and rebuke it. Then the Spirit came upon Amasi, who was the chief of the captains, and he said, thine are we, David, and on thy side, thou son of Jesse. Peace be unto thee, and peace be unto thine helpers, for thy God helpeth thee. Then David received them and made them captains of the band. And there came some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they helped them not, for the lords of the Philistines upon advisement sent him away, saying he will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads. As he went to Ziklag, excuse me, as he went to Ziklag, there fell to him of Manasseh, Adnah, and Jehozabad, and Jadiel, and Michael, and Josabad, and Elihu, and Ziltai, captains of the thousands that were of Manasseh, and they helped David against the band of rovers, for they were all mighty men of valor, and they were captains in the host. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him until it was a great host, like the host of God. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready, armed to the war, and came to David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him, according to the word of the Lord. The children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800 ready armed to the war. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi, 4,600. And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites, and with him were 3,700. 28.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is when you say Lord of hosts, this is what he's
Mm-hmm.
talking about right here. You see
Mm-hmm.
that? This the host. What here? What you talking about? So you say, what you talking about? As above, so below. You gotta host the angels in heaven too, right?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So Michael over the host in heaven, and he over this host right here.
Mm.
That's why it says the God of heaven and earth. Not talking about Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can pick it up in uh 38.
All these men of war that could keep rank came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel, and all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. And
So
there
the Lord of
it,
hosts doing this. The Lord of hosts put the spirit on them.
okay,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And
Yes,
so
sir.
David killed Uriah. That's what brought the drama in his house. Because the Lord of hosts doing this. And then David turned around and did what he did to Uriah. Keep going.
You're right. And there they were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had prepared for them. Moreover, they that were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun, and on camels, and on mules, and on oxen, and meat, meal, cakes of figs, and bunches of raisins, and wine, and oil, and oxen, and sheep abundantly, for there was joy in Israel. And Shalom, now it's
Okay.
First Chronicles 12. Sir.
Okay. So that's the host right there. That when you say Lord of hosts, that's what we're talking about. And then this is in Ezekiel 37. He raised up. Yeah. So I'm in. Are we in chapter 13?
Yes, sir. hmm And it's in plans for moving the ark, and it says, and David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. And David said unto all the congregation of Israel, if it seem good unto you that it be of the Lord our God, let us send abroad unto our brethren everywhere that are left in all the land of Israel, and with them also to the priests and Levites which are in the cities and suburbs, that they may gather themselves unto us, and let us
So
bring.
look at verse 1. Verse 1. And David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. What they remind you of?
The Lord of hosts.
The 200. It came down. Wasn't they over thousands and hundreds of thousands?
Oh
The
yeah,
200.
right, yes, sir.
Right. Same set. Like I said, as above, so below.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just like David know all these people, the Lord of hosts know all the angels in heaven.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. It's not some fictitious story. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And David said, 13:2, and David said unto the congregation of Israel, if it seem good unto you that it may be of the Lord our God, let us send abroad unto our brethren everywhere that are left in all the land of Israel, and with them also the priests and Levites, which are in their cities and suburbs, that they may gather themselves unto us, and let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we inquired not added in the days of Saul. And all the congregation said they would do so. They would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David gathered all Israel together from Shahor of Egypt, even onto the entering of Hamath, to bring the ark of God from Kir Jerathaim. Uh, and David went up in all Israel to Bala, that is Kirjatharim, which belongeth to Judah, to bring up thence the ark of God, the Lord, that dwelleth between the cherubims, whose name is called on it. And they carried the ark of God in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio drave the cart. And David and all Israel played before God with all their might, and with singing, and with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cymbals, and with trumpets. And when they came onto the threshing floor of Shidon, Uzzah put his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him because he put his hand to the ark. And there he died before God. And David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah. Wherefore that place was called Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of God that day, saying, how shall I bring the ark of God home to me? So David brought not the ark home to himself to the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed Edom the Gittite. And the ark of God remained with the family of Obed Edom in his house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the house of Obed Edom and all that he had. And Shalom, that was First Chronicles 13.
Okay, you got it done?
Right, brother Leonard. This guy Uzzah was not a Levite or a priest, right? So that's why he had to go.
Nah, he'll Levi.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, Levi. That's why he dealing with the ark.
So
Because
then
he
how?
told him not to touch it.
Oh,
But he'll Levi.
so it was for okay going against the commandment, not to touch.
Yeah, well, he wasn't intentionally. He said that it hit a, it hit a hole or whatever, and it rocked, and he
Mm-hmm.
reached out to keep, I guess he reached out to steal it, but that was against the commandment, and Michael killed him. But the thing with another way to understand this right here too is, like I was saying, David or the Levites. We just I talked about this the other day. How you see what it says right here, where they came, brought the ark in, singing and praising and singing. I think that was in yeah, verse 8. David and all Israel played before God with all their might and was singing and with harp. See that?
Right.
The same thing I was telling you about with Zechariah Haggai when Zerubbabel was bringing back to build the temple. They're doing the same thing. They all of them there. They got men just their DNA is just the same. They're singers.
Right.
So that's what David did too. But David is out of Judah, right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
But the Israelites and the singers and all them, that's David's boys because David loves singing. So
Right.
Uzzah is one of his boys, Asaph. Asaph and Uzzah, he hang with the musicians.
Okay. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
so he killed him because he put his hand on it. So David he didn't know how to deal with that.
Mm. Right.
Okay, yeah,
Sir.
right. So we in chapter 14, Hiram kindness to David. So this is the king of Tyre. Hiram is king of Tyre, and David had let me see how they go. Yeah, David had a relationship with the king of Tyre. Right, it says now, Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers unto David, and timber of cedars with masons, carpenters, to build him a house. And David perceived that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted up on high because of his people Israel. So we see the hand of the Lord right here uh, doing all this. And David looking at it and see it. So when you read these two verses, this take you back to 1 Samuel chapter 7, when David was in his house. See, they're building the house. And we get over there in 2 Samuel chapter 7, they finished it. And David looking at it and saying, look what the Lord did to my house. Now he wants to build the Most High, the Lord of Hosts house. It says, and David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begot more sons and daughters. Now, these are the names of his children which he had in Jerusalem: Shammah, Shudad, Nathan, and Samuel, and Ibhar, Elisha, and Elipalet, and Nagag, and I can't say these names, Nifig, and Jaffa, and Elishama, and Baal, Abba, and Elebet. Okay, so then David's victories over the Philistines, and when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it and went out against them. And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of God, saying, shall I go up against the Philistines, and will thou deliver them into my hands? And the Lord said unto him, go up, for I will deliver them into thine hands. So they came up to Baal Pezel, and David smote them there. Then David said, God have broken. Okay, let me get over here and read this. God have broken in upon mine enemies by mine hands, like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore, they call the name of that place Baal Perazim. And when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. Therefore David inquired again of God, and God said unto him, Go not up after them, turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And it shall be when thou shalt hear a sound of the going in of tops of mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle, for God is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. And David therefore did as God commanded him, and then smote the host of the Philistines from Gibeon even unto Gaza. And the fame of David went out into all the land, and the Lord brought the fear of him upon all nations. Okay, so what you get out of that? Starting at verse 11.
Uh, well, in starting at verse 11, well,
Right,
in verse 10, he had just inquired. David had just inquired to the Lord of hosts. Should he go battle them? And I always noticed that they did that. Were the righteous kings anyway. They inquired to the Lord, and the Lord of hosts said that he would
right.
that he
Yeah,
would
so
deliver them.
so when you go to Second Samuel and remember the story, David asked Nathan that
Right.
could he build a house for the Lord, right?
Right.
Nathan ain't do this. Nathan turned right around and said, do all this in thine heart.
hmm
And that's why I was saying a lot of people don't get that. So then the Lord came and checked Nathan that night and told him, this is what you go tell David,
Right.
right?
hmm
Like I said, when you understand all them things, you can see this ain't Yahweh and the damn sure ain't Jesus.
Show
Okay?
in. Yes, sir.
So my thing is this, it says, verse 10, David inquired of God, saying, shall I go up against the Philistines, and wilt thou deliver them into my hands? And the Lord said unto him, go up, for I will deliver him into thy hands. Now check this out. 11. So they came up to Baal Peram, and David smote them there. Then David said, God have broken in upon mine enemies by mine hands, like the breaking forth of the water. So Michael there, and what he's saying is he in front of him. He came and took over him, and he the one doing all the damage. So then you go to 12, right? And when they had left their gods, David gave the commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley, right? Now, therefore, David inquired again of God, of the Lord of hosts. And God, the Lord of hosts said unto him, go not. This time he said, go not after them, turn away from them, and come upon them again against the mulberry trees, right? See that?
Right. Yes, sir.
So they over here, they by the mulberry trees. Now watch this, 15. And it shall be when thou shalt hear the sound of the going forth in the top of the mulberry tree. That's him. That's him. He said, when you see the mulberry tree move, top of the mulberry tree, that's me. Come on. So then he said, and it shall be when thou shalt hear the sound of the going in the top of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle. For God is gone forth before thee. See that? To smite the host of the. So when you say just wait, when you see these trees moving top, that's me going to get them. And so now you can go because now I'm in front of you. See
hmm
that?
Yes, sir.
Ain't that something?
Right.
So like I said, it damn sure ain't JC. Okay.
Right.
All right. So chapter 15. David brings the ark to Jerusalem, and David made him houses in the city of David, and he prepared a place for the ark of God, and he pitched for it a tent. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites, for them have the Lord chosen to carry the ark of God and to minister unto him forever. And David gathered all the Israel together to Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord unto the place which he had prepared in it. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites of the sons of Uriel and the chief and his brethren 120 of the sons of Merah Ashar the chief and his brethren 220 of the sons of Gershom Joel the chief and his brethren 130 of the sons of Ezaphan Shema the chief and his brethren 200 of the sons of Hebron Elib the chief and his brethren or fourscore of the sons of Uzzah Amminadab the chief and his brethren 112. And David called for Zodok, Abiathar the priest, and for the Levites, for Uriel, Ashiah, and Joel, Shimei, Elib, Amminadab, I guess it is Amminadab, and said unto them, ye are the chiefs of the fathers of the Levites. Sanctify yourselves, both ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel unto the place that I have prepared it for you. For because ye did it not at the first, the Lord our God made a breach upon us, for that we sought him not after the due order. So the priests and the Levites sanctified themselves to bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel, and the children of the Levites bore the ark of God upon their shoulders with the staves thereupon, as Moses commanded, according to the word of the Lord. And David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be singers. There you go right here. Singers with the instruments of music, pastry, harps, cymbals, sounding by lifting up the voice or with joy. So the Levites appointed Heman, the son of Joel, and his brethren, Asaph, they go Asaph, Asaph, son of Bethna, the son of Mara, their brethren, Ethan, the son of Kishiah, and with them their brethren of the second degree, Zechariah ben and Josel, Shemelech, Jehiah, I can see his name, 19. So the singers, Heman, Asaph, Ethan, were appointed to sound with the cymbals of the bass. So you see them names right there, 19?
Right, yes, sir.
They look familiar?
I see him in the titles of the Psalms a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
20, and Zechariah and Azrael and Shemuel and Joel and Uni, Elib, Manasseh, Massa, Benaiah, with pastries on the Alamoth and the Mihana, Mattathiah, I can't see his name, and Joel, Azariah with the harps on the Shimei to excel. And Shaniah, chief of the Levites, was for song. He instructed about the song because he was skillful. And Berechiah and Elkiah were doorkeepers for the ark. And Shebaniah and Jehoshaphat and Neathel and Amazah and Zechariah and Benaiah and Eleazar, the priest, did blow the trumpet before the ark of God, and Obed and Zina were doorkeepers for the ark. So David and the elders of Israel and the captains over them, over thousands, went to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the house of Obed with joy. And it came to pass when God helped the Levites that bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord that they offered 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and the Levites that bore the ark, and the singers, and the Taniah, the master of the song, with the singers. David also had upon him an ephod of linen. Thus all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouting and with sounds of cornets and with trumpets and with cymbals, making a noise with pastries and harps. And it came to pass, as the ark of the covenant of the Lord came to the city of David, that Michelle, daughter of Saul, looking out of the window, saw King David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart. Okay, so you got something on that? That was chapter 15. You got anything on that?
Shalom. Just Brother Leonard, how you said in verse 19 that Heman, Asaph, and Ethan,
Right.
and that just yeah, that is where I always see that name. Yeah, in the Psalms. So that makes sense now that I'm reading this. I was listening to this. That they are is with David. That just
Right.
made sense to me just now.
So let's look at that. I was telling you about the 33, the mighty men. We see how dangerous they is, right?
Right, sir.
David was with them more than he was at home.
Right.
So David dealing with the Lord of hosts, and Lord of hosts dealing with David, and then what David, we saw what happened when Moses went up and stayed with the Lord. He said he came back. He had to put a thing over his face, right?
Right.
So imagine that David, and then he coming back with that oil on him and put it on these 33 giants. See what I'm saying? And then not only that, now he hanging with these Levites, these singers.
Right.
Come on. So then anyway, the thing I want to shine a light on was 27. Remember what Daniel saw when he described the Lord of hosts in Daniel chapter 10, right?
Right.
You see, he saw a man girded about with a golden girdle.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. David got the same thing on. Look, 27. David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and all the Levites that bore the ark, and the singers and the chapters and the masters of the song with the singers, David also had upon him an ephod of linen. So they dressed like the man in Daniel chapter 10.
Right.
Come on. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I was saying. It dawned on me, like I said, these I guess you would call them let's see, I get the name for it. Revelations. So I'm sitting there saying, well damn, if Michael dressed like that, the other 6 angels, they can't be naked. You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying it may seem like something small, but I never thought about that. All I ever dealt with was when they described what Michael looked like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they got to be dressed the same way.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Say yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they got to be girded about with a golden girdle too. So yeah. Is that soon?
And so they dress like royalty, Brother Linda, right?
Right. Yeah. When you see them, and then that's how they like with Hannah when she had what that was Samuel.
And
Ain't you
right.
telling?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason why he asked her, "Who are you?" Because he had to see how you dress
Mm,
and his demeanor. You know what I'm saying?
right. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mhm,
This song?
mhm.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna pick a scripture before we close out and break that scripture down.
Yes, sir, Berlin. I'm gonna go to Exodus 23 and 20, 20 through 23, and I think yeah, is that the one? Right, yes, sir. And it says, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice and provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites, the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will
Okay.
cut them off.
That's it.
Shalom, yes, sir.
Okay, what's your take on that? What's your take on that?
We were just reading, Brother Leonard, where the Lord of Hosts went before David, and it was on top of the mulberry tree, I think it said. So
Yeah,
yes, sir. Right here, the Most High was telling Moses that he gonna send the Lord of Hosts before them to go into Canaan.
right.
Right. Okay. That sounds like
So
the
so
same thing.
like I said, when you understand what was just happening with when he told David about the mulberry trees, so he got a Lord, right?
Right.
So in order for him to give David the commandments, where he got his commandment from? You know what I'm saying?
All right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
Then just for GP, when dealing with those mulberry trees, let's go to Zechariah right quick. Tie that in there right quick. Zechariah. Zechariah chapter, let me see. Let's see. Chapter, chapter 6. You have chapter 6?
Chapter 6, Zechariah 6.
Right.
Okay. Right. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start reading at 1. And I turned, and I lifted up mine eyes, and I looked, and behold, there came forth chariots out from between two mountains. And the mountains were mountains of brass, right? And in the first chariot were red horses, and in the second chariot black horses, and in the third chariot white horses, and in the fourth chariot grizzled and bay horses. Then I answered I and said unto the angel that talked with me, check it out, the angel that talked with me, what are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said unto me, these are the four spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. The black horses, which are therein, go forth into the north country. Uh, the white go forth after them, and the grizzly go forth toward the south country, and the bay went forth and sought to go that they might walk to and fro through the earth. And he said, get ye hence, walk to and fro through the earth, so they walked to and fro through the earth, and they cried, and they cried. Then cried he upon me, and spake unto me, saying, behold, these go toward the north country, go toward the north country, and have quieted my spirit in the north country. I'm in the wrong place, man. Let me see if I can find what I was looking for. Okay. Okay. I think I know what I'm supposed to be at. 4. Hmm. Yeah, here you go. Chapter 1. In chapter 1,
Right, yes, sir.
verse 7. Upon the 24th day of the 7th month, which is the month of Sheba in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Edu, the prophet, saying, I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among, here you go, he stood among the myrtle trees. See that? He's an angel. He
Right.
stood among the myrtle trees and were in the bottom, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that stood with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they who the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth, to these angels. And they answered they answered, the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees. See that? The angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts. So this is one angel talking to the Lord of hosts. And the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against whom thou hast indignation these 70 years? And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. So you see the comparison?
Right, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So they sitting there watching everything, but they standing there amongst the trees, but they taller than the trees. Okay? But anyway, so my thing is this, verse 12. Can you read it? Tell me what you get out of that.
I'm sorry. It says, and then the angel of the Lord answered and said, Oh Lord, how long? My page ripped. My fault, brother.
Oh Lord of hosts.
And the angel of the Lord said, O Lord of hosts, how long will thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years?
So what you get out of that?
Three score and 10 years. That's 70, right, brother Leonard? So,
Right.
right. So that's talking about Babylon.
Right. So they watching. They watching. The angel telling them they count. They count, and it said now that 70 years is up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See that? He said, How long? How long, O Lord of hosts, how long will thou have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70, so the 70 years up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time, like I said, when you see that Zechariah is one of the prophets, go back to verse 1. See what it say? In the 8th month. Just chapter 1, verse 1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord to Zechariah, son of, so 78 years up. That's why the angel came to him, and the son of Edu the prophet, and the Lord have been so displeased with my fathers. Therefore say unto thou to them, Thus says the Lord of hosts, turn ye unto me. said the Lord of hosts, and I will turn thee unto you. So you see that this is the 70 years is up.
Right.
Then Zechariah. So when you say, what are you talking about? Well, when you understand that, you go to chapter 9, verse 9, right? You there? Zechariah 9:9.
9 yes, sir.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter. Shout, O daughter of Zion. Behold, thy king cometh to thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass, upon the coat of an ass. Ain't no way in hell that Jesus. We just saw the angels, they all there, and they say the 70 years is up. So this right after the 70 years. And then we know Zechariah is one of the prophets that was with Zerubbabel. This is who the king is. In Daniel 9:25 is riding with Zerubbabel. They ain't have no Hummers and no ATVs when they left Jerusalem. They was on asses, coat of an ass, right?
Exactly, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's that simple. Like I say, that's 1-on-1. Okay. You got anything else? We're gonna open it up for some Q&A. Or you got anything? Questions? About anything? Comments?
Well, shoot, you just answered 2 of my questions, Brother Leonard, because I was gonna ask about those mulberry trees again, and
Right.
yeah, then you took us to Zechariah. But just another thing, when where's that? Just a moment. Where it says when we're reading in 15, 12. I'm sorry, and it says this is First Chronicles 12 and verse 22. Brother Leonard, and it says, and they helped David against a band of rovers, for they
Right.
were all, yes, sir, they were all mighty men of valor, and they were captains in the host. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him until it was a great host, like the host of God.
Right.
Yes, sir. So my question, just for you to break down, Brother Leonard, is that's like the Lord of hosts. So David is like Michael. Right.
Right. He's the commander in chief over Israel's army. Just like Michael is the Lord in chief over Israel, over the heaven's army. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
But we know that Michael he's the commander in chief both in heaven and on earth.
Right.
He's the power. He's the power behind David, the unseen power.
Right.
Yeah.
Sir. And then in Brother Leonard, in that same in First Chronicles 12 and 27, where it says, and Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites. That's talking about the priests, right?
Right.
Okay.
Over all of them.
Right. Okay.
Exactly. You did something?
Yes, sir. God, because I don't recall ever seeing the Aaronites before. I don't think, but I mean that makes sense. But I just don't think I ever seen that name.
Right. It's the same as when they say the Levites. They from Levi. They from Levi, so they Levites. So the same as Aaron. Levi is a man. Aaron a man. So if it's Levites, it's Aaronites.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
You get something?
Right. So that makes sense.
Right. So you good?
Right. I'm good, sir.
Okay. So with that being said, we got our Women's Advanced Bible Study tomorrow. This Israel Wake Up. It's our sister channel. We come together every Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. For the Israelite women. So if you come across this conversation or you come across the channel, you're more than welcome to come in. You come in through YouTube, or you can call 337-802-0889, and we'll give you the link so you can come in and you want to engage with the women and get a greater understanding of what's going on with the scriptures. in the Tanakh, and then feel the need to do it. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.